Today marks 40 years since the inception of the national holiday, and this is only the third time it has coincided with the presidential inauguration. However, this time it has become a major factor for so many people because of the notable contrast in the two men who are sharing the same space in today's news cycle and on today's Gregorian calendar. For some, today's inauguration represents the best of times, make America great again. And for others, it highlights the worst of times, set America back again. For some, today's King holiday represents a day to champion freedom, justice, and democracy. For others, it's a day to decry DEI, disavow a legacy of peace, love, and justice, and distort the meaning of King's words. But regardless of how this day shows up for you, we must remember the mission and be in pursuit of it. Now, one of the most important words in the Holy Bible is remember. It is when the children of Israel forgot that they lost ground, were set back, and became subject to ruthless leaders. Instead of focusing on the land that God had promised them, the people were afraid and complained about the obstacles and the enemies. As a result, the very thing they feared came upon them, and that generation never reached the promised land. My father and those that aligned with his leadership were faced with impossible circumstances. They dealt with recalcitrant and defiant leaders. They lacked political representation. They didn't have laws or policies in place to buttress them. Yet they didn't recoil or retreat. In spite of Bull Connor and his dogs, water hoses, and billy clubs, in spite of Governor George Wallace, who said segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever, in spite of Sheriff Jim Clark, who used violence to beat back people seeking to register to vote, in spite of Southern Dixiecrats, who were determined to keep segregation legal by signing a Southern Manifesto, today's Project 2025. Despite all they faced, it was with the power of a soul force generated by love, a spiritual determination to stay focused on mission, and a belief that with God nothing is impossible, that they were able to destroy de jure by law segregation without destroying people. They were able to get the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act signed into law. They understood that the mission was greater than any political party or governor, mayor, police commissioner, congressperson, senator, or president. It was a mission ultimately commanded by God to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. As this day unfolds, and over the next 4 years, I want you to hear me, we must remember what we faced before and how we faced it. Yes, we will hear some disturbing things. We will face some difficult days. We will come up against some monumental challenges. Our minds may become boggled with things that may be uttered. Our hearts may become heavy laden by disturbing policy decisions. Our spirits may become troubled by the manner in which people are treated. But we must remember that nothing can defeat us if we stay focused on mission. This year's theme is a divine declaration. Mission possible. Look at your neighbor and say, mission possible. Protecting freedom, justice, and democracy in the spirit of Nonviolence 365. It is a mandate for people throughout the entire world to embrace every day, because they are dark, depraved, and sinister forces seeking to not only keep us deeply divided from each other, but seeking to kill, steal, and destroy our humanity. Nonviolence 365, which is Kingian nonviolence, is a love-centered way of thinking, speaking, acting, and engaging that leads to personal, cultural, and societal transformation. Too often, and I want you to really hear this, too often, people say or do things in the name of Martin Luther King Jr. But my question is, are you doing it in the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr.? My father led with a spirit of love and did and said things from a place of love. For him, love was not impotent. It was not a resignation of power. He understood that love and power conjoined harmoniously are essential to creating lasting social change. That love should guide our use of power toward justice and a better society. He said power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. He went on to say that power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. So as we commemorate the King holiday and stand at the dawn of a new presidential era under Donald Trump, we find ourselves at a critical juncture in our nation's history, where the very foundations of freedom, justice, and democracy that my father fought so tirelessly to build are being shaken. Therefore, I urge every one of us under the sound of my voice to say yes to the power and the strength of love. Not only that, I urge us to heed my father's timeless call to remain awake through a great revolution, for we are indeed living in revolutionary times. My father once said that one of the great liabilities of history is that too many people fail to remain awake through great periods of social change. Well, we are living in a time when anti-woke rhetoric has become a weapon to divide us and distract us from the real issues of injustice. But let me be clear, to be woke is to be aware of oppression and committed to justice. And this ain't no threat. This is not a threat to America, but a reflection of America's highest ideals. Therefore, we must not slumber through this pivotal moment in our nation and world's history. To those who would have us return to a past where injustice went unchallenged, we say we will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back. And not only that, we will not close our eyes. We will not be silent. In the spirit of love, in the spirit of determination, we declare that we will remain woke because too much is on the line. Our health care is on the line. The equitable education of our children is on the line. Our housing affordability is on the line. Our basic civil rights protections are on the line. Our economic safety net is on the line. DEI is on the line. The learning of our true history is on the line. Our voting rights are on the line. Freedom, justice, and democracy are on the line, and the survival of our humanity is on the line. So I say to you, let us stay woke. Let us stay engaged. Let us not falter. Let us not stop. Let us not give up nor give out. We may get bruised. We may even get scars. We may face setbacks. But remember, setbacks sometimes are setups. We may suffer disappointments. But in the words of Martin Luther King Jr., we must accept finite disappointment, but never, ever lose infinite hope. Let us remember the mission, that it transcends any one administration and any one generation. For as my mother said, struggle is a never-ending process. Freedom is never really won. You earn it and you win it in every generation. Let's rise to the challenge to win it in this generation. Let us use the sole force of love to defend freedom, justice, and democracy. Let us stand up with an unwavering faith. Let us embrace the spirit of nonviolence 365. And let us declare together, the mission is possible.
Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. You heard what we just talked about there. Folks, I can't reiterate this enough. Listen to me clearly. I cannot reiterate this enough. When you've got technology companies running scared, when you've got legacy media not doing their job, when you've got Black-owned media that is disintegrated, now is more than ever for us to have independent media that cares about the truth, that is willing to say what needs to be said. So when you support Roland Martin Unfiltered, this show, when you support the Black Star Network, you're not just supporting me, you're supporting the other shows. Our goal is to add 2 more shows this year. We want additional shows. We want more weekly and daily shows because we want to be able to speak truth to power. We want to be able to say what is necessary where other people are scared. And when you are scared, when you're looking over your shoulder, oh my God, that advertising contract is not going to come in. Well, guess what? A lot of these major ad agencies, they're not even supporting us anyway. You know, in 6 years of doing this show, Group M hasn't done a damn thing with us. Publicis hasn't done anything with us. You've got Horizon, you've got all of these folks, they haven't done jack. And so we are calling it like we see it, and we're speaking truth. And unlike some of these other so-called progressives and people who believe in truth, I'm not running around trying to kiss MAGA ass and kiss Trump's ass. I won't be going to Mar-a-Lago, not for a damn thing. And so this is about us being able to speak truth. So when you support this show and this network with your resources, that is exactly what is happening, because we are trying to build something that is bigger and broader, and actually it has the courage to say what needs to be said, even when it makes other folk uncomfortable. If you want to contribute giving Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. This is it right here. And if you are listening, simply go to blackstarnetwork.com to check it out. Also, if you want to see your check and money order, some of y'all old school, we understand that. See your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 2003 7-0196. PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. And again, folks, we've got some 4 million social media followers. If only 20,000 of our fans contribute at least $50 each, which comes out to $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day, that's $1 million that allows us to be able to continue to build, to add these shows and do the work that's required. So your support is needed. So please join our Bring the Funk fan club today. If you've not already joined, if you have given to us in the past, please renew your commitment, because it's important that we support Black-owned media, because Black-owned media matters.